Meg sang to the dancing rats. The torches flickered. The walls ran wet. She teased the creatures with bits of bread. She stroked them and scratched them and chuckled over them. There came another heavy crash against the central door. This time the wood splintered somewhat about the hinges. "Meg! Meg!" came from beyond it, and again the large eye appeared behind the bars. She looked up, meeting the moist blue gaze. A troubled expression came over her face. "Yes?" she said softly. "Meg!" There followed another crash. The door shuddered. Cracks appeared along its edge. "Meg!" Another crash. The door creaked and protruded beyond its frame. The cracks widened. She shook her head. "Yes?" she said more loudly, a touch of excitement coming into her voice. The rats jumped down from her lap, her shoulders, her knees, racing back and forth across the straw. The next crash tore the door free of its hinges, pushing it a full foot outward. A large, clawed, dead white hand appeared about its edge, chain dangling from a metal cuff about its wrist, rattling against the wall, the door. "Meg?" She rose to her feet, dropping the remainder of the bread from within her shawl. A black whirlwind of furry bodies moved about it, the squeaking smothering her reply. She moved forward through it. The door was thrust farther outward. A gigantic, hairless white head with a drooping carrot of a nose looked out around it. Its neck was so thick that it seemed to reach out to the points of its wide shoulders. Its arms were as big around as a man's thighs, its skin a grease-splotched albino. It shouldered the door aside and emerged, back bent at an unnatural angle, head thrust forward, moving on legs like pillars. It wore the tatters of a shirt and the rent remains of a pair of breeches that, like their owner, had lost all color. Its blue eyes, blinking and watering against the torchlight, fixed upon Meg. "Mac?" she said. "Meg? Mac! Meg!" She rushed to embrace the quarter-ton of snowy muscle, her own eyes growing moist as he managed to hold her gently. They mumbled softly at one another. Finally, she took hold of this huge arm with her small hand. Come, Mac," she said. "Food for you. Warm. Be free. Come." She led him toward the chamber's exit, her pretty ones forgotten.